Good morning, my little wellness warriors. Happy Monday. Welcome to week 5. So when I originally started to plan out this module in the beginning of the course, we were looking at that wheel of life activity or the circle of life activity where you were looking at those different pieces of self-care. And this week's focus was supposed to be on creativity and joy. And so when I started to kind of unpack what I wanted that to look like, I recognized that creativity right now with all that's going on is a little hard to tap into. And so I'm taking it from a different angle, and we're calling this module fun, flow, and recreation. All right. So my objective for you this week is to have fun. And I know that there is a lot going on right now in our world, especially as educators with the start of school. And if your school is making announcements and what the fall is going to look like. And right now, I feel like a lot of us are carrying this book bag that's like stuffed to the brim with bricks, and it is super heavy. So I'm asking you to maybe put down what you are carrying, even just for a moment, and to sink into some fun recreation and play. It is the last week of July, which is, from a summertime standpoint and from an educator standpoint, it's usually our time to recharge. And so I'm going to ask us to focus on our controllables and just for a moment, let go of what we can't control and really sink into play this week. So I'm going to pull up for you the expectations from Canvas so that you know what to expect. If you're watching this right now, then you already have done the overview video or you found the overview video. I'm going to come back to this mindfulness exercise and journal in just a moment because I'd like to end my little session here with a guided meditation for you. So here's fun and flow, discussion, and share. There are 3 pieces to this assignment, and it is in a discussion board. But I have 3 things for you to interact with, and then you are going to use the full group discussion. I didn't put you in support groups strategically because I thought it'd be awesome to kind of celebrate and acknowledge and share all those fun things that we're doing this week as a way to uplift each other and to give each other ideas. So play doesn't end with childhood, why adults need recess. This is an NPR article, but I love it so much because it reminds us of that process that happens developmentally somewhere from childhood to adulthood, where we forget about the creativity that comes out when we are at play. And our students, especially if you're working with the younger students, you get to see some of that. For me, I get to see it with my own children and their ability to take any situation and to turn it into something that's fun and playful. I invite you to participate in that fun. If you do have, little ones around that you can kind of tap into their own intuitiveness when it comes to play. That's always a beautiful place to start. I mean, my kids, we play in water all the time, and we were doing a stream study the other day, and we were taking, rocks out, and my daughter wanted to like dive full in and swim. And at first I was like, I don't know, if we're going to get totally wet, and all of my adult thinking of like, what's this going to look like for my car? And what's the mud going to look like tapped in for a moment. And then I just took a deep breath and was like, no, let's go swimming. And we laughed and had so much fun. There was a current, and it was, letting go of some of those check marks that we have as adults of like, we know what the outcome's going to look like. And so we want to try to like gear the situation a specific way. Maybe let that go for just a moment and allow that organic fun to just kind of happen. But this also is really cool because it reminds me of connecting with other people, right? So I recognize that right now fun is a little low for us because things that we typically do in the summer, like large gatherings and barbecues and concerts and festivals, they're not an option at the moment. But I want you to try to get creative in how you can foster fun. So even if it's like a game night, right? Through Zoom, they have all these different ways that you can play, like charades, Cards Against Humanity. I've seen people play Pictionary. I've seen people play trivia games. So maybe you get a group of friends together for like a virtual happy hour and you play a game, or you do something that, makes you laugh, right? If you have a partner, you could maybe try to orchestrate a date night. I don't know if you have people who could help out if you do have kids or what that looks like, but my husband and I flipped the script a while back, and we don't actually do date nights anymore. We do date days. And it used to be once a month. We have yet to go on a date day since COVID, but we used to pick and we would alternate every other month. So I would plan something for us to do, and then my husband would go along with it. So mine were like, one time we did like a yoga, meditation, and 5K. It was like a mindful triathlon. He sometimes will pick something like going on a trail run because he loves to trail run. We've done stand-up paddleboarding, we've done rock climbing. We pick something that gets us back to that childhood interest, and we both loved being out in nature and we both love being active. So maybe trying to be creative in ways that you can still tap into fun. Something we've been doing a ton of as a family is tubing down the Brandywine. So it's nice and cool and the kids get out and swim, and that could be something that could tap into fun too. So that's the first one. That was way too long of an intro. The second thing is about flow. So Flow is a book by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, and it's an awesome book, but it talks about that when we are involved in a hobby or an activity that we get lost in, those moments of flow where you forget everything that's around you and time, and everything just kind of stands still and you're able to like fully immerse yourself into something. And there's a little survey that you can take that talks about your flow profile. So I thought that might be something fun to do. Is this perfect, the survey? No, but it is a nice way to kind of get you thinking about what are some of those hobbies and activities that you can kind of sink into. And maybe that'll help give you an idea of what you want to foster or create this week. And then your assignment this week is to check out any of the other resources, but I'd love for you to do something that either taps into your flow state, that is like, that recess oriented, like play or whatever. And I want you to either take a picture of it or a video of it, or even just describe it if you're not comfortable with doing that. And then you're going to share that in the post for the discussion this week. And we're all just going to, and if you want to give feedback, I'd love for you to give feedback to your classmates throughout the week and just tap into what people are doing as a way to develop ideas, but also to create like that community. So that is really your only assignment. I know that it's multi-tiered and little layered, but really it's just to go out and have fun. I'm sure, there are people who in your life who would love an excuse to do something that's fun and energizing and out of the bubble of what we're in right now, because it's a lot, and I want to honor that, but I also want to encourage you to just let it go for a little bit. So here's some additional resources for you. There's a ton of stuff on here. There's articles, there's ideas, there's like a list of things that you can do to tap into fun. I totally recognize that some of them aren't doable. Just try to maybe do the best that you can. And that's it. All right, so the mindfulness exercise, I actually wanted to lead you through a guided meditation, if that's okay with you. So if you are watching this and you can press the pause button and go find, a quiet space with headphones, or bring your computer somewhere that you can listen to this. I'd love to just give you a moment to tap into some of this focus on play and fun. And then I'll explain your activity. Okay, I'm going to put some music on just because I love it. So let me share my sound with you. Give you some space. And hopefully you can still hear me, even with this on. All right, so if you are seated somewhere that's quiet and away from the busyness, just start to tap into your breath. So if you can, and you're sitting either crisscross applesauce, or if you're sitting on a chair, just start to elongate your spine nice and straight. When we elongate our spine, it allows our brain to recognize that we're about to do something to focus and rejuvenate. So start to breathe in gently through your nose, taking nice deep inhales in through your nose and equally long exhales out through your nose. And as you begin to do this, I just want you to start noticing how the air feels as it's moving into your body. Are you noticing it the most as it goes into your nostrils, as it's filling up your lungs, as it's filling up your belly? And wherever you feel that air the most, I want you to use that as your anchor. So an anchor keeps us grounded in our practice. If our brain starts to wander, just bring your breath back to that spot. So let's take 2 deep breaths in through our nose and out. Inhaling and exhaling. All right, so I want you, as you continue to breathe, I want you to start thinking about yourself as a child. So what were the activities, projects, lessons, ideas that you would get completely lost in? Was it inventing games to play outside? Ghost in the graveyard? Tag? Hide and go seek? Can you picture yourself riding your bike, skateboarding, walking on nature trails? Did you love to draw or sketch or write stories? Were you more of a hands-on, building towers and forts and creating things with your hands? And as you start to visualize this childlike wonder, I want you to spend just a few moments in that place. So connecting back to your breath and really trying to visualize some of those activities that you used to tap into. What did it feel like to engage in these activities? Did you tend to lose track of time? Were you fully immersed in it? Did it bring you joy? Did it tap into creativity and curiosity and wonder? And how does this activity that you're visualizing show up in your current life? Is it something that you still practice? Is it something that you can tap into and go back to that state of flow? And try to picture what it looks like now. How has it changed, grown, lost focus? And then I want you to think about if there is space this week to go back to that childlike state and play. You thought about and were able to identify what that space looked like for you. Can you recreate that in your current life? As you continue to breathe, give yourself permission to let go of what you're carrying, even if just for a moment, to recognize that you have permission to tap into fun and play and flow. Take 2 more deep breaths here, re-anchoring our bodies. Exhaling out. And on this last and final breath, do an exhale through your mouth and visualize yourself honestly letting go. You can gently open your eyes and bring yourself back. All right. So, I hope that you were able to tap into some calm right there and get back to your breath a little bit. And to maybe figure out what you would like to tap into for your friend this week. All right. So that was just an example of a mindfulness practice. All I'm asking you to do this week, or it could be next week, but this week in particular might be nice to kind of tap into some quiet and some stillness too. I'm going to have you pick one day, either this week or next, to set intentions for your day, reflect on gratitude, and chart your own mindfulness practice. So this is one of those charts. You've done a food chart. Chris asked you last week to do a physical activity chart. This is going to be a mindfulness chart. And it's going to ask you automatically to make a copy. This is so each of you can have your own and edit it. And when you open it, it's going to have a couple things. It's going to ask you for the date, your intention for the day. It's going to ask you to put down 3 things you're grateful for. And then it's just going to ask you to chart whatever that mindfulness practice is that you did. So, what time did you do this? Was it in the morning, afternoon, at night? How long did you do the meditation practice or the mindfulness practice? And then a comment about how it made you feel. You can use apps like the Calm app. Insight Timer is a great one too. They have guided meditations that I really love. It doesn't even have to be a guided meditation. You can put on quiet music and sit outside in nature. You can go outside with your cup of coffee in the morning and just not have any other stimulus that's happening. It's just, solitude and quiet. It could be while you're walking. Walking meditations and moving meditations are totally doable, and it's a great way to relax too. So whatever this looks like for you, that is your other activity that you have to do. So the discussion, and then your mindfulness practice this week, and this journal, and you can just submit it right through Canvas. And that is it. So I am wishing you so much fun. I can't wait to hear what you get yourself into, and to get ideas for each other and from each other and be able to kind of grow and support. So Take care, and I will see you not next week, the following week for our in-person classes.